Perhaps it's been a long time since you truly slept.
Not the sleep of the body, but the sleep of the mind.
The kind of rest where all worries dissolve like morning mist, leaving only a silent space where you can finally listen to yourself. Welcome to Lucid Dream, Sleep and Science Stories, where stories are not merely told to lull you to sleep but to awaken the deepest part within you. Here, amid the gentle frequencies and the dim light of night, we step together into 10 teachings from souls who once stood in the heart of storms and learned how to stay calm within chaos. 10 fragments of philosophy from those who once sat in the silence of their own being and discovered a freedom no one could ever take away. As Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events."
Realize this,
and you will find strength. And perhaps tonight, you'll begin to realize it too as your breath slows and your last thoughts drift away. Let the voices of the ancients guide us through every layer of the mind, from chaos to stillness. And so, in the quiet of the night, we open the first door, where true strength lies not in the outer world, but in your ability to calm the waves within your own mind. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events."
realize this, and you will find strength. Perhaps never before have we lived in an age where everything moves this fast.
Messages, notifications, endless interruptions. They fill every second of our lives. And amid this whirlpool, have you ever asked yourself, do I still have control over my own mind? Whenever something irritates you, a comment, a message, a memory, pause for a moment and notice. Is your reaction truly yours, or just a habit you've repeated for far too long? We often believe that outside things cause our suffering, but in truth it is the untrained mind that gives birth to the storm. Someone once compared the mind to a lake. When the water is still, it reflects the world clearly. But when the wind stirs, every image becomes distorted and broken. And in modern life, we are constantly creating winds of worry, of comparison,
Of fear over things that haven't even happened yet. We stay up late,
scrolling endlessly in half-consciousness, and then wonder why our sleep no longer feels peaceful. It's not because the world is too noisy, and it's because inside, we have never truly been still. If Marcus Aurelius, an emperor, a warrior, and a man full of reflection, could write words of calm amidst the chaos of war, then perhaps true strength does not come from peaceful circumstances, but from the ability to remain calm in the storm, and you too can do the same.
no throne is needed.
No power required.
Only awareness, but to one moment at a time. Try this.
When a negative thought appears, don't push it away. Simply observe it, as if watching a cloud drift across the sky. It comes and it goes. No need to fight. No need to cling. We've grown accustomed to reacting rather than choosing. When someone insults us, we get angry. When someone praises us, we feel happy. But if our joy and sorrow depend entirely on how others treat us, then we are nothing more than puppets of the world. Aurelius never told us to be emotionless. He simply reminded us, you have power over your mind. The one power no one can take from you is the power to choose your response. Imagine this. Your day begins in silence, not with a glowing screen. You sit still, take a deep breath, and allow your mind to observe the world without judgment. At first, you'll notice your thoughts running wild. You'll recall unfinished tasks, conversations, regrets. But if you stay patient and simply observe, something remarkable begins to happen. Between the stream of thoughts, there are moments of emptiness.
And in those empty spaces,
Peace begins to take root. Epictetus once said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." It sounds simple, yet it holds an entire philosophy of living. You cannot stop the rain, but you can choose how to walk beneath it. You cannot stop others from hurting you, but you can choose not to let them control your emotions. The strength of the mind is not in being cold, but in the ability to see things as they are and remain at peace. When you truly learn this, every sleep becomes deeper, because your mind no longer fights. It allows itself to let go, to breathe, to rest. You begin to realize that every storm outside is merely a test of the stillness within. And when your mind becomes steady like a calm lake, the world may still surge with waves, but your reflection remains untouched. Tonight, before you sleep, close your eyes. Don't try to silence your thoughts. Simply whisper to yourself, "I have power over my mind, not outside events." Say it, and feel how your heart grows lighter. And then, as you begin to understand this power, another question slowly arises. If we can master our own minds, what is it that keeps us from living fully in the present moment? The answer awaits in the next chapter. Seneca once wrote, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." It's strange, isn't it? We rarely suffer from what has happened, but from what hasn't. From the stories that exist only in our imagination. How many times a day do you tell yourself a story that someone is judging you, that you're about to fail, that the future holds nothing good? Those stories were never real, yet they make your heart race, and when night falls, they keep you awake. The human mind is a storyteller that never rests. It loves to create scenarios, to replay conversations that never took place, and to convince us that everything is urgent, everything is worth worrying about. But here's the thing. Your body cannot tell the difference between real danger and imagined threat. Just thinking of something terrible can quicken your pulse, tighten your breath, as if you were truly under attack. And thus, sleep, the one refuge you have, becomes a battlefield. There's a truth the Stoic philosophers always reminded us of. We do not suffer because of the world itself, but because of how we interpret it. Epictetus once said, "Men are disturbed not by things, but by the view which they take of things." A statement that touches the very foundation of perception. It's not the event that causes pain, but the story we tell about it. Someone speaks ill of you.
That's just an event.
But if you think, "I'm not good enough,"
Everyone hates me. Then it's that story, not the insult, that becomes the real burden. And then you begin to see the mind, when left unobserved, becomes a prison of thought.
the bars aren't made of steel, but of assumptions. Beliefs we mistake for truth simply because we've repeated them too many times. Imagine this. You're sitting alone in a quiet room.
No one around, no sound.
Yet inside your head, 100 voices rise, reminding you of mistakes, of fears, of unfinished things. And soon you're exhausted, not because of the world outside, but because of yourself. Seneca understood this deeply. He lived amidst the intrigues and dangers of an imperial court, yet he could still write letters about the peace of the soul. He once said, "He suffers before it is necessary." Meaning, we cause ourselves pain long before life even has the chance to touch us. And that is the root of modern anxiety. We live in two worlds at once, the outer world and the one inside our minds. It is the second world where all tragedies are staged and where we lose ourselves. But the good news is this: the key to escape has always been in your hands. You don't need to silence your thoughts. You don't need to chase away fear.
All you need to do is observe gently, like watching a child cry.
You don't yell at them to stop. You stay quiet, open your arms, and wait for calm to return. Your mind is no different. It doesn't need to be forced. It only needs to be seen. When you look deeply into your thoughts and ask, "Is this really true?" you begin to break the walls of illusion that Seneca spoke of. A Stoic doesn't run from pain. They learn to walk through it calmly because they understand fear doesn't live in events but in the way we speak to them. And tonight, before you close your eyes, try whispering to yourself, "Perhaps I suffer more in imagination than in reality." Just realizing that is enough to make things softer. You'll begin to see that the world was never truly cruel. Only your mind's harsh painting of it was. And as you look again, everything becomes just passing wind. And when you start to see that most pain is but an illusion, another question quietly arises. If we can let go of those thoughts, then what remains? The answer lies in the pure presence of this very moment. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Confine yourself to the present." There's something curious about human nature. We live everywhere, except in the only place that truly exists, the present moment. The mind loves to wander. It leaps from memory to worry, from what was to what has yet to come. And in that endless flight, it loses what is most precious, life itself. Pause for a moment.
Feel your breath.
No forcing, no effort. Simply notice that it's there, as the earth keeps turning, as your heart keeps beating, whether you think about it or not. That is presence. You don't have to search for it. You are already here. In this very moment, Marcus Aurelius knew well the storms of the mind. On the battlefield, he faced not only his enemies, but also his own thoughts. He wrote in Meditations, "Do every act of your life as though it were the last." A reminder not to make us fear death, but to make us live truthfully. For when you know each moment could be your last, you stop wasting it on what doesn't matter. Look back at your day.
How many times were you somewhere else while being here?
When you ate, you thought of work. When you worked, you thought of vacation. When you rested, you thought of unfinished tasks. And so we live trapped between memories and expectations, never truly touching the moment that is unfolding now. Epictetus once said, "Now is the only time you have. Make use of it." It sounds simple, but it's the key to escaping the labyrinth of the mind. When you return to the present, all burdens dissolve, for the past no longer exists, and the future has yet to come. Imagine yourself sitting under the night sky. No noise, no one around. Only the breeze brushing past your skin and the rhythm of your own heartbeat. Every breath is proof that you are alive. You don't need to do anything. You don't need to be perfect or successful. You just need to be here. In this moment, you are no longer the one worrying about tomorrow, nor the one regretting yesterday. You are simply a soul breathing. Someone once asked a wise man, "How can I stop fearing the future?" He smiled and replied, "Stay in the present, for there fear does not exist. Fear lives only when you look ahead. Regret lives only when you look back. But between the two lies freedom. We cannot control what is to come, but we can live fully with what is here. And in every fully lived moment, every anxiety grows small. When you take a sip of water, feel the coolness on your tongue. When you gaze at the moon through your window, let its light touch your eyes as if it were the first time you'd ever seen it. That is the art of presence. A simplicity so profound that every meditator, every philosopher, every weary soul is seeking it, and when you practice it long enough, you'll realize every ordinary moment can become sacred, because your awareness turns the present into a miracle. Before you close your eyes tonight, whisper softly, "I confine myself to the present." And feel your mind begin to settle, no longer drifting toward the past, no longer fearing the future, just resting gently in the tenderness of now. But then, as we learn to stay within the present, another question softly arises in the mind. Is this stillness strong enough to keep us at peace amid adversity? The next chapter will explore just that, the art of accepting what we cannot change. Epictetus once said, "Make the best use of what is in your power, and take the rest as it happens." One of humanity's quiet tragedies is that we spend almost our whole lives trying to control things that were never ours to control. We want the weather to bend to our will. We want others to understand and love us the right way. We want life to follow the plan we drew in our minds. And when things drift even a little off course, we panic, as if the world were betraying us. But Epictetus reminds us, it's not the world that must bend to us. We must learn to be gentle before the world. There is a kind of peace that comes only when you stop resisting reality. Like water, it doesn't fight the stone that falls into it. It trembles for a moment, then returns to stillness. You can do everything within your power, but at a certain point, you must let go and trust that the rest will arrange itself. That isn't abandoning responsibility. It is the wisdom of one who understands. Life is always larger than our plans. Epictetus was once a slave. He had no say over his home, his work, or even his bodily freedom. Yet he wrote about inner freedom because he understood that freedom is the only worthy goal in life. It is won by disregarding things that lie beyond our control. Freedom is not when you have everything. It is when nothing has power over your mind. We often fear loss, but forget that everything in this life is on loan. The body, reputation, money, the beloved, all are guests passing through, and our task is simply to receive them with gratitude and let them go with gentleness. Once a student asked Epictetus, "How can I not fear losing what I love?" He replied, "Remember, when you hold a fine jar, say to yourself, 'I am holding a jar.' When you embrace a person, say, 'I am embracing a human being.' If the jar breaks, if that person must leave, you will not be broken, for you never clung to the illusion that they were yours forever." Acceptance is not indifference. It is an awakening so clear that you see everything comes and goes according to its own law, and you no longer fight the current, like dropping a leaf onto a river. At first, you want it to drift in the direction you choose, but when you let go, you see it float, light glancing off the surface.
And strangely, you feel at peace in the end.
Life is not about winning or losing. It is a piece of music, and you need only learn to move in harmony with it. There are high notes and low notes, and all are needed for the song to be complete. If you insist on hearing only cheerful sounds, you will miss the beauty of the quiet tones. And tonight, before you drift into sleep, try letting go of something you've been holding too tightly. It might be a memory, a person, or simply a thought. Say to yourself, "I make the best use of what's in my power, and I take the rest as it happens." And as you say it, feel your body soften. Your shoulders grow lighter, your heart slows, and your breath deeper than ever. You will see, acceptance is not an ending, but the beginning of freedom. And when you've learned to let go, something wondrous begins to happen. In the very space you once feared, gratitude begins to take root. The next part will guide us there, to the stillness of a grateful heart. Seneca once said, "Nothing is more honorable than a grateful heart." In a world of calculation and haste, gratitude can seem old-fashioned. But perhaps it is exactly what we need most, because when you are truly grateful, you are no longer the one who demands, but the one who sees. Each morning, when the first light slips through the curtains, we often fail to notice the miracle being offered. A new day,
Another chance to feel, to make amends, to love, but we rush.
We unlock our phones, chase 100 unfinished tasks, and forget the simplest truth: to be alive is already enough. Seneca called gratitude the virtue of free souls. Only when you owe life nothing do you truly feel rich. Think back for a moment. How many times have you wished for more, forgetting how much you already have? Sometimes we need to lose something to realize how precious it was. But the awakened person does not wait for loss. They are grateful even while still holding. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." He didn't write that for someone living in pastoral peace, but for himself, an emperor amid battle, where death could arrive at any moment. And so he knew better than most, gratitude does not depend on circumstance, it depends on how fully we recognize the worth of this moment. There is a lovely Stoic saying, "We are rich not by what we possess, but by what we can do without." In gratitude, you need nothing extra to be happy. Gratitude turns the small into the sufficient, a simple meal, a comfort,
A friend's check-in, a gift.
a quiet evening where you sit with yourself, a rarity the whole world seems to be losing. Some say gratitude is the candle in the night of the soul. You cannot banish all darkness, but with a single flame, the dark loses its power. When you are grateful, your mind stops rushing to find what's missing. It pauses and sees the beauty of what is here. And strangely, that is when you become stronger. Not because you have everything, but because you no longer need everything. A grateful heart is not easily shaken by loss, for it understands everything is a gift, and we are merely caretakers, not owners. Try a small practice before sleep. Take a deep breath. Recall 3 things. Just 3. You are grateful for today. It might be a smile, a thank you, or simply that you are lying in your own room and your breath is still here. When you do this each night, you'll see life begin to change. Not because the world is different, but because you are, and when gratitude becomes a part of you, peace is no longer something to search for. It is what you radiate. Nothing is more honorable than a grateful heart. Softly, let that sentence repeat in your mind like a whisper from the universe, reminding you you already have everything you need to be at peace right now. But then, as the heart learns gratitude, another insight gently unfolds. Gratitude is not just a feeling, it is how we treat the world. The next part will lead us there, into the art of kindness and contribution, where gratitude becomes action. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." Perhaps never has the world spoken so much about goodness, and never has goodness been so easy to forget. We debate morality, we share beautiful words online, but in the late hours when no one is watching, do we still have enough gentleness for ourselves?
And for others?
Aurelius didn't tell us to become grand.
He simply said, stop arguing, live it.
For philosophy, if it remains only in words, is just a fine garment draped over an empty soul. When gratitude runs deep within you, it flows outward as kindness. You don't need to try to be virtuous. You only need to live with a grateful heart, for a grateful person cannot be cruel. They know that everything in life is a gift, so they treat the world with reverence and tenderness. Seneca once said, "Wherever there is a human being, there is an opportunity for kindness. Every encounter, even just a glance, a greeting, is a chance to make the world a little lighter." Someone enduring a storm of anger, someone silent from hurt, someone trying hard with no one noticing. All of them need just a small ray of kindness, and perhaps you are the one who can offer it. Kindness doesn't need to be loud. It often arrives in silence, like a glass of water poured without a word, like a timely embrace, like a look of understanding. The Stoic understands that the aim of life is not to be loved, but to be worthy of love. Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." One who understands this chooses kindness even when wounded, not because they are weak, but because they are strong enough not to answer with the same wound. Kindness is a form of strength, a quiet strength that seeks no victory, no spotlight, yet can melt the ice of a frozen heart. And when you choose to live kindly, you create small ripples, spreading farther and farther, to places you'd never expect. Seneca reminded us in Letters to Lucilius, "What you give to others, you give to yourself. Every kind word, every good deed returns to you, because it leaves you more peaceful, lighter, truer." Kindness won't change the whole world in a day, but it changes the person living in that world. You, and tonight, before you fall asleep, think of one small thing you can do for someone tomorrow. It needn't be grand, only sincere. A thank you message, a check-in, or simply a smile at a stranger on the street. Let your gratitude grow wings, so it can fly out of your mind and touch the world. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one, gently now. Let that line repeat within you like a deep breath before sleep. A reminder that you don't need perfection to live well. Only sincerity to live kindly, and when you live by kindness, there will be times the world doesn't answer as you hoped. There will be trials, hurts, betrayals, but that is also where Stoic philosophy truly begins. In inner strength, in the ability to stand firm in the storm without losing your peace. The next part will lead us there, the strength within. Epictetus once said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Freedom, it sounds simple, yet it is one of the grandest illusions we chase. We think we are free because we can go anywhere, say anything, choose any path. But perhaps the hardest thing we have yet to do is to be free from our own minds. Think of the last time you were angry at someone. That feeling didn't come from the other person. It came from within you, from your allowing the emotion to fill your entire inner space. Epictetus taught his students, if someone succeeds in provoking you,
realize that your mind is complicit in the provocation. No one can make us suffer unless we permit it.
True strength lies not in controlling others, but in governing our own reactions. There is a kind of strength the world seldom names, the strength of calm. In the storm, the weak shout to prove they are strong. The truly strong stand still, quiet, steady as a mountain. Not because they are unfeeling, but because they understand. Every storm has its end, and the only thing we must keep is inner composure. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." This line comes full circle, bringing us from first awareness to the depths of self-mastery. Strength doesn't come from suppressing emotions, but from the ability to sit with them without being swept away, like watching a wave rise. You don't leap in to fight it. You simply stand knowing it will settle. In Stoic philosophy, there is the concept of apatheia, not apathy, but a mind not ruled by emotion. When you reach that state, you need not run from life. You can pass through it with the serenity of one who knows we cannot choose the wind, but we can choose how to set our sails. Once, a student asked Epictetus, "Master, how can I not fear losing what I love?" He smiled and said, "Remember that you own nothing, not even yourself. And when you understand that, no one can take your peace away. Inner strength needs no proof. It is not loud, not showy. It appears in the way you stay quiet when others lose their calm, in the way you smile when things don't go your way, and in the way you choose understanding over resistance. It is a strength no one can take, because it does not live in the outer world. Try to recall the times you moved through fear, the times you wanted to give up but kept going. No one saw it, but you know. And in those very moments you became free, for you had conquered yourself. Tonight, before you close your eyes, ask yourself one thing. What today unsettled my peace? Then take a deep breath and softly say, "No man is free who is not master of himself." This line is not just philosophy, it is a promise to yourself that starting tomorrow, you will master your emotions instead of letting them master you. And when you understand the power of self-mastery, life will continue to test you with losses, changes, and unannounced adversity. But it is then that resilience is truly proven. The next part will speak of that. Resilience. The serenity in the storm. Seneca once wrote, "Fire tests gold.
Adversity tests brave men. None of us are spared from the storms of life."
But it is within those very storms that our true nature is revealed. Fire does not weaken gold, it purifies it. And so it is with adversity. It does not come to destroy us, but to strip away our fragility and expose the strength hidden within the soul. Perhaps all of us, at some point, have asked, "Why is this happening to me?" But those who learn the Stoic spirit slowly replace that question with another. What is this trying to teach me? For to them no tragedy is merely a tragedy. Every wound carries a lesson. Every loss holds a seed of growth, Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations. The impediment to action advance is action. What stands in the way becomes the way. What hinders you is, in truth, your path. When you are forced to face pain, you learn patience. When you lose what you love, you learn to love more deeply. When you fail, you learn what success could never teach, resilience. Life is not gentle, but its harshness is what makes us mature. Seneca said, "Difficulties strengthen the mind. As labor does the body, like muscle, the soul too needs resistance to grow strong. Without adversity, we would never know the limits of our own strength. Someone once compared life to the ocean. The weak wish the waves would stop. The strong learn to ride them. The Stoic does not pray for an easy life. They pray to be strong enough not to need one. When you find yourself in pain, remember, you've survived every worst day you've ever faced. That means there is a part of you that cannot be defeated. Find it again, not in pride, but in the quiet steadiness of inner power, that knowing this too shall pass.
And I will still be here, unshaken. Look back on your life.
The moments you are most proud of were likely not when you were praised, but when you stood up, even when no one believed you could. Epictetus once said, "It is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." We heard this at the beginning of our journey. But now it is no longer just advice, it is truth, proven through pain. For once you've lived through adversity, you understand, peace is not the absence of storms, but the ability to stand firm within them. And sometimes, resilience doesn't mean being strong all the time. It can simply mean getting up in the morning, taking one more step though your heart feels heavy,
and still believing, even just a little, that things will be okay. Before you close your eyes tonight,
remember this: if you are here, still breathing, still feeling, you are stronger than you think. Whisper softly. Fire tests gold, adversity tests brave men. Let that phrase echo in your mind like a warm pamainut, small, yet bright enough to guide you through the night. And when we learn to endure the storm, another truth begins to unfold. Every storm eventually passes. Nothing lasts forever. Not pain, not joy. The next part will take us there, to where we learn to welcome impermanence with a heart as calm as a still lake. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "All is ephemeral, fame and the famous as well. Everything passes." It may sound sorrowful, but it is one of life's most gentle truths. No pain is eternal and no joy remains unchanged. Everything is simply moving, like clouds. Humans often fear change because we confuse impermanence with loss. But if you look closely, you'll see it is precisely because of impermanence that everything becomes precious. A flower is beautiful because it will fade. A warm afternoon is precious because it happens only once. A person who walks briefly through your life leaves trails of light in your memory. If things lasted forever, we would forget how to cherish them. Seneca once said,
Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. And it's true. Every ending is simply another beginning. We
just often spend so long weeping before the closed door that we fail to see the one quietly opening. Behind us, we live in a world of constant change.
People come and go.
Emotions come and go. Leaves change. Seas shift their colors.
And you were changing too, day by day, minute by minute. Your body is no longer the one you had yesterday.
Your mind is no longer who it was a year ago. Everything is flowing like a river that never steps into the same waters twice. Heraclitus said this thousands of years ago, and Stoic philosophy simply teaches us to smile at the flow. The problem is never change itself, but our attempt to make things stand still. We hold tight, we cling, we believe that if we hold on long enough, we won't lose, but in doing so, we suffer. For grasping is resistance against the law of the universe, while letting go is harmony with it. Think of the moon. It waxes, it wanes, and then it waxes again.
No one calls that loss. It is a cycle, a breath of nature. Life is the same.
When something leaves, it is not necessarily gone. It has simply fulfilled its role in your journey. Marcus Aurelius would remind himself each morning, "Soon you will have forgotten all things. Soon all things will have forgotten you," not to despair, but to remind himself to live lightly. When you realize that nothing lasts forever, you stop trying to control, you stop running the race,
and you begin to live truly in every breath. Those who fear impermanence have not yet seen its beauty.
Because it is change that gives birth to everything we love. Without impermanence, we would never grow, never forgive.
Never love again. Tonight before you sleep,
whisper softly, "All is ephemeral." And imagine everything in your life, joys, sorrows, memories, even yourself, dissolving gently like mist in the morning light. Not disappearing, but returning to the eternal rhythm of life. In that transience, you will find freedom. For when you no longer fear loss, you finally know how to love. And when we've accepted that all things flow and fade, we reach the final truth, or the one humans have always feared most: death. Not as an ending, but as a natural part of life. The next part will lead us there, the art of dying and the wisdom of letting go. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "It is not death that a man should fear, but he should fear never beginning to live." Death, a word that makes all of humanity tremble. And yet, it is the only certainty in this life. But the Stoics did not look upon death with fear. They saw it as a mirror that reflects life itself. Because only when we face the end do we truly learn how to live. Imagine this. If you had just one day left to live, what would you do differently? Perhaps you'd be less angry, argue less, prove yourself less. You'd sit longer beside those you love and feel gratitude even for the smallest things. The morning sunlight, the warmth of a cup of tea, or simply the fact that you can still breathe. Marcus Aurelius did not write about death to make us despair. He wrote to awaken us. In meditations, he reminded himself each morning, "Think of yourself as dead. You have lived your life. Now take what's left and live it properly." It wasn't a cry of hopelessness. It was a ritual of awakening. When you live as though life is ending, everything becomes clearer. Every petty irritation fades into nothing. And what remains is life happening right now. Seneca also wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." Life isn't short. We simply live too little. Not because we lack years, but because we fail to be present in them. We fear death because we've never truly lived. When you live fully in each moment,
Death is no longer an enemy, it is but a gentle visitor.
arriving only to close a beautiful piece of music. Think of a falling leaf. None fall with regret. They don't cling to the branch nor curse the wind. They simply let go softly and return to the soil from which they came. Humans are no different. We come, we go, and we return in countless forms. Life is just a wave in the endless ocean, and death is the moment the wave dissolves to reunite with the sea. Epictetus once said, "I cannot escape death, but I can escape the fear of it." These words are not just courage. They are the soul's ultimate freedom. Because when you no longer fear losing, you finally know how to love, how to forgive, and how to live without clinging to anything. Perhaps the art of dying is simply the art of letting go, of releasing what you cannot hold, so your hands are free to embrace what remains. We were not born to grasp forever, but to give and to smile as we do. Before closing your eyes, say quietly to yourself, "I'm not afraid of the end." For every ending is simply a new beginning unseen. It's not a phrase of comfort, but a reminder that even in the silence of endings, a new heartbeat is waiting to begin. And if tonight you can let go of worry, of the past, of fear for the future, you'll find sleep coming gently, like a falling petal, not as disappearance, but as a return to the place where the mind no longer resists anything. It is not death that a man should fear, but he should fear never beginning to live. Let that line echo like a final breath before sleep, a reminder that the only thing to fear is not death, but living a life unawakened. And as the night closes in, everything heavy begins to fade like mist. There are no true endings, only moments transforming into something new. We do not leave life. We change form, change wind, change light, so that once again we may live in a new rhythm of the universe, and perhaps that is the final piece toward which philosophy, sleep, and life have always been gently guiding us. Seneca once wrote, "Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end. Every new beginning is simply another ending, but within it lies something miraculous. We are reborn, again and again, right within our own lives. When we pass through long nights of suffering, we think we've been broken, but in truth, it is only the shell of the seed cracking open. Darkness is not the end. It is the womb where light is formed, like winter, cold, silent, bare. Yet if you listen closely, beneath the frozen earth, countless seeds are preparing to rise. We are the same. After every loss, every wound we thought would never heal, something new begins to grow within us. Resilience, compassion, wisdom. Seneca once wrote in a letter, "It is not that life is short, but that we begin to live late. And perhaps it is only after the breaking that we truly begin to live. Remember the times you thought you wouldn't make it. You wanted to give up. You believed it was the end. And yet, here you are, breathing, living, feeling. That means you've been reborn. Not once, but many times. Each time you rose from the ashes, life began again inside you. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The universe is change, our life is what our thoughts make it." It is an invitation meant to welcome change not with fear, but with trust that everything is rearranging itself to help you become stronger, truer. Because sometimes life has to break you once to teach you how to love yourself deeply. Rebirth does not mean forgetting the past. It means embracing it as part of you. Your scars need not disappear. They are proof that you endured. The Stoic does not erase the cracks in their soul. They treat them like the Japanese art of kintsugi, mending broken pottery with gold, turning the fractures into beauty. You may have lost much, a person, a dream, a piece of yourself, but within that loss, you found something no one can take. Your truest essence. A soul tempered by loss no longer seeks ease. It seeks truth. When you wake in the morning, notice how the light slips through the window. It's never quite the same as yesterday.
And neither are you. That is the quiet rebirth life gives you every day. You don't need miracles, for the miracle is already here. In the simple fact that you are still here, still willing to love, to trust, to live. Before you sleep tonight,
whisper softly, every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end, and feel your heart open just a little to make room for what's new to enter. For life is always ready to bloom again, even in the places where you once thought only ashes could remain. And when we are reborn, a natural question arises. This time, how will we live? Not by habit, but with purpose, awareness, and meaning. The next part will be an invitation to live with intention, where each day becomes a sacred ritual of presence. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Ask yourself at every moment, is this necessary?" In this life full of noise and restlessness, we're easily swept away by habits, reflexes, and the things others say we must have. But amidst it all, Marcus asks only one question. Is this truly necessary? A small question, yet if answered honestly, it can change the way we live entirely. Try pausing for a moment. When you're scrolling past hundreds of headlines, when you're responding to empty conversations, or when you're exhausted from doing things you don't believe in, ask yourself, am I living or just drifting? For true living isn't about doing more, but about doing less, with meaning. Epictetus once said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." That is the philosophy of agency, that this life is not merely a place to react, but a place to choose. Choose what matters. Choose what brings your heart to rest. Choose what makes each morning feel worth waking up to. In the modern world, we glorify busyness, forgetting that busyness is not the same as living. Many go through life without ever stopping to ask, where is this taking me? The Stoic walks the other way. They are simple, they are unhurried, and they do only what is truly worth doing. Seneca once wrote, "It is not that we have a short life, but that we waste much of it." This is more than a reminder. It is a wake-up call for our age. Time
is not scarce. We have simply traded too many precious moments for things that do not matter.
To live with intention is not to live without warmth, but to know why you do what you do. When you eat with gratitude. When you speak with truth. When you love with awareness. not to fill an emptiness, but to grow together. And when you live this way, life begins to slow down. No more meaningless races, only actions with a soul. Each morning becomes a ritual. Each word becomes a prayer, and each breath a witness that you are truly alive. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Let each thing you do, say, or think be like that of a dying person," meaning, live as if this were the last time. Not to be afraid, but to become acutely aware of each remaining second. Through that lens, even the smallest act becomes sacred. Even silence has meaning. Tonight, before you sleep, ask yourself, softly, is this necessary? Ask it not only of actions, but of thoughts, fears, and worries. You'll find that most of them are not. And as you remove the excess, your life returns to its purest nature, because living with intention is not about doing more. It is about living more awake, to know what you're doing and why, and then each day becomes complete. A breath, a glance, a word, all filled with meaning. And when we've learned to live intentionally, a new door opens in the mind. Are the things we're choosing truly ours, or merely what the world wants us to be? The next part dives into that question and into the true purpose of life, into finding your inner compass, where you stop chasing others' light and begin to shine from your own being. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." Our soul is not shaped by fate, but by what we allow ourselves to think. Each thought is a drop of ink. Day by day they seep in, tinting the soul. If we dwell on fear, we grow small. If we dwell on gratitude, we grow radiant.
If we dwell on the good, our life softens into goodness. But here's the problem. We rarely notice what we're thinking. Our minds are filled with the noise of others, with expectations,
Standards, the endless shoulds of society. We strive to become someone, when the only thing we truly need is to return to ourselves. Epictetus once said, "Know first who you are."
and then adorn yourself accordingly. Simple,
Yet profound. Most people spend their lives decorating the exterior, without ever gazing into the mirror of the soul. We often think, if I had a little more,
I'd be happy. But the Stoic knows peace doesn't come from adding.
but from removing. Imagine standing before a clear lake. Its surface reflects sky, cloud, light. But only when the water is still do you see yourself. So it is with the soul. When we stop running, stop trying so hard to become, we begin to see who we already are. Marcus Aurelius reminded us, look well into yourself. There is a source of strength which will always spring up if you will always look. The greatest strength is not outside, but deep within your own heart, quietly waiting for your return. And the wonder is this: when you truly come home to yourself, you are no longer lonely. In that moment, you and the universe are not two. We've grown used to seeing ourselves through other people's eyes. A lover, a parent, society, social media. But the truly free person no longer needs to prove themselves to anyone. Seneca wrote, "A man is great not because he stands above others, but because he stands above himself." Greatness is not surpassing others, but surpassing the illusions within. When you realize this, all comparison dissolves. For comparison is the child of lost direction. One who knows who they are no longer wishes to be anyone else, and strangely, only when you stop trying to be somebody do you finally begin to be here. Ask yourself one question tonight. What in me is true? Not what others see, but what remains when every role is set down. Perhaps it is gentleness, patience, or an honesty you once forgot. Whatever it is, return to it. For that is where your soul truly begins to live. The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. So choose your colors carefully. Every thought, every feeling, every act you nurture is painting the person you become. Let your mind be dyed with light, with kindness, with stillness, and you'll see. Life itself begins to change color with you. And when you have found your true soul, something natural happens. You no longer need the mask, no need to prove,
No need to fit, just live, honestly, freely.
and fully human. The next part will speak of this, the freedom of authentic living, where life is no longer a role, and you become yourself in the truest way. Epictetus once said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." Living authentically sounds easy, yet it is one of life's hardest trials, because to live truly, you must accept being misunderstood. You must accept that some will leave because they cannot bear the brightness of your truth. Epictetus knew this better than anyone. He was a slave with no status, no power, no voice, and yet he was free because he lived according to his true nature. He didn't need approval, for he knew true approval must come from within. We often think that being loved is happiness, but the Stoics point out, being yourself, that is freedom. Such freedom is quiet. It doesn't come from breaking every rule, but from being honest with your feelings, your values, and the truth in your heart. Seneca wrote, "A man who follows the crowd will go no further than the crowd." And indeed, if you live only to please others, you will never discover who you really are. Each time you nod while your heart silently protests, each time you smile to hide your sorrow, each time you pretend to be fine, you drift further from yourself. The Stoic does not live to fit in, they live to be honest. Honest with themselves, with their emotions, with the values they choose to uphold. That is not selfishness. It is the deepest respect one can offer to life. Marcus Aurelius said, "If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it." A simple rule, yet enough to guide a lifetime. If you are truthful in each thought and deed, you no longer need to remember whom you lied to, or how many masks you must wear to satisfy the world. Authenticity does not mean opposing everything. It means moving with the stillness of one who knows what they are doing and why. Such a person doesn't need to shout, doesn't need to persuade. They simply are, and their presence alone is convincing. But to live this way, you must be ready for one thing: loneliness, for the authentic will always be different. And difference is often feared. Do not worry. Loneliness in truth is better than belonging in falsehood. Epictetus also said, "To be free is not to live as you wish, but to wish to live as you do." True freedom is not doing whatever you want, but wanting to live exactly as you live in integrity. When you live authentically, everything grows lighter. No more exhaustion from acting. No more fear of revealing who you are. You can breathe deeply and smile, for at last you have come home. Consider this. If tomorrow the world stopped paying attention to you, would you live differently? If the answer is yes, then tonight, begin narrowing the distance between who you are and who you truly wish to be. One small step at a time.
One true thought.
One true action. One true word. That is freedom. If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. Let this remind you that sometimes, to live rightly, we must accept appearing wrong. Sometimes, to live authentically, we must trade away applause, but the price is always worth it. For the only reward you gain
Is yourself.
And when we dare to live authentically, something wonderful begins to happen. We look upon others with compassion. Judgment fades, for we understand that everyone is struggling to be themselves. The next part is that journey, compassion and connection. The invisible thread between souls, where understanding is what makes us human. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "When you arise in the morning, think of what a privilege it is to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." Each morning, the first thought of the Stoic is not work, not to-do lists, but the privilege of existence. To breathe, to think, to feel, to love. When we truly sense this, we begin to see the world with different eyes. A child crying is no longer a nuisance, but a soul learning how to live. A stranger passing by is no longer other, but a story, a hurt, a hope moving through the world. Marcus wrote, "We were born to work together like feet, hands, and eyes." He believed that human beings were not made for isolation, but for connection. Each of us is like a cell in a larger body. If one part is injured, the whole feels pain. We often mistake stoicism for coldness, detachment, emotional control. But no, compassion is the summit of composure. Only when the mind is still enough can we see another's suffering without judgment. Only when we are no longer at war with ourselves can we truly hold another. Seneca wrote, "Wherever there is a human being, there is an opportunity for kindness." Every person is a chance to become better than we were. No grand gestures are required. Sometimes it is just a look, a gentle word, a moment where we choose understanding over reaction. Think of someone who once hurt you. Perhaps they are in pain and know no other way to cry for help than by making others hurt too. If you see them with compassion, there is little left to be angry at, only sorrow to be held. And that is freedom. Compassion does not make you weaker, it makes you deeper. It teaches that everyone is weathering a storm of their own, and choosing gentleness is not defeat. It is understanding. Epictetus said, "Be tolerant with others and strict with yourself." Not to punish yourself, but to remind us that the world needs less judgment and more understanding. Be rigorous in keeping your heart clear, but tender in how you see the world. When we begin to view others with compassion, life grows calmer. Not because the world has changed, but because we have stopped fighting it. You see yourself in others, and others in yourself. Boundaries blur, and you realize we were never separate. Try one small practice tomorrow morning. Before you unlock your phone, whisper, "It is a privilege to be alive, to breathe, to think, to enjoy, to love." And as you step outside, see each person as a part of you. No more me and them, only us, living together, learning how to love. Wherever there is a human being, there is an opportunity for kindness. Let this linger within. You like a lullaby, reminding you that kindness needs no conditions, and compassion is the common language of every soul. And as the heart learns to understand, you begin to feel a quiet miracle. We were never apart from the world. There is no you and me, only one flow of life, of awareness, of love. The next chapter is that realization, oneness and harmony, when we dissolve into the universe, where we stop searching for connection because we see it was never lost. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "All things are woven together, and the common bond is sacred." Everything in this universe is woven from the same thread. You, me, the sky, the sea, the moonlight, all are small patches in the boundless tapestry of life. Marcus called it the common bond, a sacred thread connecting every soul. The force that opens a flower is the same force that makes your heart beat. The order that moves the stars across the sky is the same that brings tears to your eyes at beauty. Nothing is separate. There is only a vast unity hidden in each breath. When you begin to see this, a strange feeling appears. Peace is no longer something to find. It is everywhere, in the sound of rain, in the morning light, in the brush of wind across your skin,
and in your very breath, where the universe moves in and out with every rhythm of your life. Epictetus said, "You are a fragment of the universe, a part of its soul." And when you remember this, all loneliness dissolves. How can you be
alone when the universe is breathing with you? We forget that we do not live in the world. We are the world. Just as a drop is not apart from the ocean, we were never apart from the whole. When you look at a cloud, consider this. You are watching a part of yourself drift by. For every atom in your body was once stardust. Seneca wrote, "We are all members of one great body. That body is the universe. And each of us is a cell contributing to its heartbeat. When you do good, the world softens. When you rage, the cosmos trembles with your storm. Nothing you do is only yours. Everything ripples outward, like rings spreading from a single drop." Marcus Aurelius reminded us, "What harms the hive harms the bee. If you harm another, you harm yourself. For you and they are not two beings, but two shapes of the same soul." And when you truly understand this, envy, comparison, judgment all dissolve. No more, "I am better, they are worse." Only the vast sea of existence, where every wave is beautiful because every wave belongs to the same ocean. Feel it now if you can. Breathe in, knowing this breath is not yours alone. The
air you draw has been breathed by millions. Humans, trees, grass, clouds, mountains, and generations long gone.
You carry the story of the whole within your lungs. All things are woven together, and the common bond is sacred. Let this line remind you that life is never solitary. Each moment you open your heart to the world is a thank you to the universe. And every time you choose love, choose understanding, choose forgiveness, you help keep that sacred tapestry whole. And when we feel ourselves as part of the whole, we come to understand deeply everything that happens belongs to that shared design. No longer good or bad, only what is necessary. The next part will carry us into that spirit. Amor fati, the art of loving fate, where we stop resisting life and begin to love it, exactly as it is. Friedrich Nietzsche once said, "Amor fati, love your fate, not merely accept your fate, but love it. Love the beautiful and the harsh, the beginnings and the endings, the wounds and the blessings, because we know they are all inseparable parts of the perfect tapestry called life." Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "A blazing fire makes flame and brightness out of everything that is thrown into it." The Stoic sees life as a flame that does not choose what gets thrown in, only receives it and turns everything into light. Perhaps today, you're walking through a difficult stretch of life, a loss,
A hurt, something you wish had never happened. But if you look through the eyes of Amor fati,
you'll see that very thing is shaping you into the form destiny requires. Without suffering, you would have no depth. Without mistakes, you would have no wisdom. Without the times you've fallen, you would never truly learn how to rise. Seneca once wrote, "Fate leads the willing and drags the unwilling." Fate always has its way of moving us, whether we want it or not. The wise walk with the current, and see each bend as a lesson, an opportunity to become softer, more enduring. Those who resist fate are dragged in pain, but those who flow with it fly farther, for they no longer fight life. They begin to move with it. Epictetus said, "Don't seek for everything to happen as you wish it would, but rather wish that everything happens as it actually will. Then your life will flow well." One of the simplest secrets of peace: do not pray for life to follow your will. Pray to align your will with life, not because you are weak, but because you trust that some things lie beyond our understanding, yet never beyond meaning. Think of the turning points in your life, things you once hated, for which you later gave thanks, people you once blamed, whom you later realized helped you grow. That is amor fati, a gentle gaze offered to everything that once caused you pain. To love fate is the lesson of trust. Trust that life is never wrong. It is simply writing correctly in a way we do not yet comprehend. Like a painter standing too close to the canvas, we see only tangled strokes. But if we step back, we realize everything has order. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself each night, "Whatever happens to you was prepared for you from all eternity." And when you believe this, resistance softens. No more, "Why me?" only, "Thank you for letting it be me." If you're in pain today, know that the pain is not meaningless. It is the place where light is about to touch. And one day, you will look back and smile, because you'll understand everything that happened led you to this point, this present moment. Tonight, say softly, "Amor fati," and notice how your heart begins to ease. No more anger, no more if-onlys, only gratitude, even for what is imperfect. That is when you know you have truly become one with life. And when we've learned to love our fate, the inner conflicts begin to dissolve. Nothing left to grip, nothing left to resist. Only absolute stillness, like a lake when the wind stops, like a mind when it no longer asks why. The final chapter is that state, the still mind, quiet amid eternity, where the journey of philosophy ends and the journey of true peace begins. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul. There is no place in this world that can bring you peace, if peace does not already live within you. For true stillness is not in deep forests or empty seas. It lies in your own mind, when it no longer wishes to be anything else. All our lives we search for peace, in work, in love, in travel, in music, in drink, in prayer. But then we realize they are only doors leading back to one place, within." Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Self-mastery is not control, but is knowing when to let go, letting things come and go as they are.
No forcing, no rejecting. The mind is like a lake.
When you stop stirring it, it clears on its own. Seneca wrote in letters to Lucilius, "True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future. Happiness is not in the future. It is here, in this breath, in this silence. In the moment when you need nothing more, perhaps you have suffered. Perhaps you still carry scars not yet healed. But if you look closely, you will see every wound, every tear was a road leading you back to yourself. Every upheaval you endured was life's way of teaching you to sit and listen to the voice of the soul." Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, "You have power over your mind, but outside events. And when you truly understand this, you no longer need to battle the world. You understand peace is not when the wind stops blowing. It is when you learn to stand still within the wind. Close your eyes.
Feel your breath.
Not too deep, not too slow, just enough. Each breath is a small wave bringing you back to the place that has always been yours. The stillness within your soul. No images, no words, only the gentle warmth of being. Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul. Let this line sound within you, like wind through pines at night, like the slow heartbeat of one who has found their home. When you touch this stillness, you'll see life was never the enemy. Everything, each tear, each smile was part of a perfect song. And you are not merely the listener. You are the song. Tonight, do not try to sleep. Just rest. Let your body dissolve into the dark.
And your mind dissolve into stillness. Nothing left to think, nothing left to do, only you.
And the breath, like waves merging with the ocean. From chaos to calm, from fear to understanding, from grasping to letting go, from the small self to harmony with the universe. That is the mind's journey. And now, you need go no further. The peace you seek
has always been within you.
Lucid dream, sleep, and science stories. Thanks you for walking this path, where ancient philosophy meets modern sleep, and where we find our inner serenity once more. Sleep well, traveler, among the stars.